Alright, working on a 2003 Ford Escape. Customer's complaint is that the fuel gauge is in-op. It is not working. So, first thing you notice, verify customer's concern. Gas light is on. Gauge is reading empty. So, come back here. First thing I want to do is check the fuel level sensor. Right now I have the Ford IDS hooked up and ran codes through the instrument cluster, and the code that is in there is a B1202. Let's go to the description on that. It is fuel sender open circuit. Okay, so we'll clear and reread. Takes a second here. Still waiting. Alright, B1202, so it is active. So I have some things set up back here, so let's check the fuel level sensor. I'm going to disconnect the connector. Give me a sec here. I disconnected the 4-pin connector. So 2 of the wires is going to be for the fuel pump, power and ground, and then the other 2 is for the fuel level sensor. I have a wiring diagram right here. I don't know if I even want to show a wiring diagram on YouTube anymore, but anyway, that's a different story. So you can do this without a wiring diagram. If you come in here and you notice the gauge of wires, 2 wires are going to be a fatter gauge. Fatter gauge wires have more current running through them, so that's going to be a fuel pump. That's going to be the fuel pump, power and ground. The other 2 are for the fuel level sensor. Okay, so come to the connector going into the tank and find the 2 smaller wires. And if you guys want to, I'll bring this up just to show you, but this is the fuel pump circuit. It's got the power coming in from the battery junction block on 20 amp fuse, goes into the fuel pump relay that goes down to the PCM. It also branches off, goes through the inertia switch that sends the power down to the pump. Power goes through the pump down to ground. So for the fuel level sender, this is the wiring for the fuel level sender. There's the instrument cluster, there's the variable resistor inside the fuel tank, and then ground. So it's got some information here which is key. Sender is a variable resistor connected to a float in the fuel tank. When fuel is low, resistance is low, 22.5 ohms. That's pretty sweet they put that in there. When fuel is high, resistance is high, 145 ohms. That's pretty sweet. Anyway, so back to this. I have a meter hooked up on ohms. Give me one sec. I need to get this hooked up. Alright, so I'm using my AES test wave, or AES wave, sorry, terminal kit, hooked up to, with the pigtails hooked up to the fuel pump. So right now I have 42 ohms. I am probed into, not even probed, I have the terminals on. The connector going into the fuel tank. You can see it is reading 45 mega ohms, and it drops out. So Does it need a fuel level sensor? Yes, it does. We're not done though. We need to verify that the gauge is working. So what we are gonna do, we're gonna install this variable resistor into the same wiring, or the same colored wires, but we are going onto the engine harness, or the, not even engine harness, I'm sorry guys, the body harness. Gonna probe right into there. I can't do this one-handed. All these other guys make this look so easy. Okay, so we are probed in. So let's go back. Let's just rerun the codes now that that variable resistor is in there. So this is going to clear the codes, and then it's going to reread the codes to see if it is an active fault. Okay, pass. All right, so let's verify cluster operation. What I did here, I guess I can exit out of this and show you guys how I got into it. Okay, so like the main screen, if you guys are using the Ford IDS, come over here to data logger, hit the tick, body, cluster, cluster again, tick. Now it's going to come up with a list of PIDs that you can choose from, and we only need a couple out of here, so I am going to use the fuel, these two here. Now I've had the IDS for a little while, I'd say about 5 years now, and for the first 2 years I had no idea that anything that has a hashtag, so like this, you can do bi-directional controls on. It's a lifesaver. It makes life a whole lot easier. So I will show you what I mean. If I go in here and click on the fuel hashtag, come over here, hit the hashtag. Now you have control with these up and down arrows. So let's go up. Not sure if you guys can see that. Actually, my bad, we gotta hit this too. Okay, so now we have control. Full. Come back over, hit the down. All right, so that bi-directional control using the good old Zeus did not work. Did not have that function inside that scan tool. I haven't tried my Autel on it. Usually with Fords, my first go-to is the IDS. Unless I'm going for test drives and stuff, then having the laptop on the passenger seat is kind of a pain in the ass. So that's when I'll grab the Zeus just to do the data PIDs, and it's just a little bit easier to watch. But if you can notice this right here, that's the fuel level percentage, so 66.6%, and that's showing because of this variable resistor that I have installed. Now, if I move this variable resistor, which all I'm doing is turning the knob, you can watch this gauge move down and up. Right now we're at 47%. And we'll back out of this, turn this off. Play with it a little bit more. Trying to get that gauge to come up, but it's not doing it right now. Sometimes we need to cycle the key, see if it'll read does the gauge sweep, which is awesome. That's a good indication right there. There it goes. So cycle the key, comes up to a little bit over halfway, which is the same as there. So let's drop it down to about 40%. It takes a second, but you can see it's falling. So that verifies our wiring from the main harness all the way back to the cluster is good. It verifies that the cluster itself, the stepper motor inside the cluster, is good, and we have an open fuel level sensor. So this pump is going to be getting pulled out. We're going to put a new fuel level sensor on there and call it a day. All right, thanks for watching, guys. So resistance will change as the tank is empty or becomes full. So we watch here. This is an empty tank, 15 ohms. Slowly up right there. See if we can do it again. Right there. You can see where it goes open. See if there's another glitch in it. That looks like that's the only spot that I can see. Oh, there's another spot. So yeah, let's see if we can get you a picture. I know it's kind of hard to see, but there's little brushes in there that make contact with the board right there. That changes the resistance. So that goes bad, causes the gas gauge to go in off or false readings. So all right, thanks for watching.